Good morning. Give me a minute as I. Ooh. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. I am super excited. I am up, I'm well, I'm alive. I decided to come on here earlier than 8:33 a.m. today because I have to run some errands, and I'm actually sitting outside the post office waiting for them to open at 8:30 so I can make some deliveries. Excuse me. Drop some things off in the mail. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yes, I'm super excited. Dropping off some books, complimentary conference tickets for this upcoming conference in December. So I'm super excited. But let me introduce myself this morning. My name is Listiner Inspires. I am an award-winning author. I'm an international inspirational speaker. I'm a healing and recovery accountability expert and coach. And I am the founder and creator of Healing is a Journey, a quarterly series of conferences designed to help those who've gone through trauma and abuse start to live their best healed life. Whoop, whoop. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for Espresso Shot of Inspiration. I didn't have a topic specifically I want to talk about. So I just went through notes that I've written to myself, words of encouragement, and this hopped out at me. Being a mom saved my life. So as many of you may or may not know, I talk a lot about my personal journey, my personal story of overcoming abuse and trauma, as far as being abused by my mother, being raped at a young age, as well as sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and all that. So I talk about it as a way to share my testimony. But I also realized that being a lot of what I've gone through has shaped it who I am today, but it's also shaped it the parent that I have become. And so I speak about the title "Being a Mom Saved My Life" really resonated when I read that, because I was like, that is something that when I discuss about depression. I've mentioned before that I have suffered from depression, and I have tried to commit suicide in the past. The one thing that I know that has kept me from doing it when I was as I started to transition into being a mom and dealing with other things and relationships, that I always felt that if I took my life, then who will be there for my children? And I will leave them to the cruel, hard world, and with no guidance, no support, no covering. And so that was something that has always resonated with me, and I always told my children that I appreciate them being in my life. I appreciate God giving them to me as a gift. I've been asked in previous interviews, like, how did being abused by my mother, how not really knowing what love was affected my parenting. It affected me being a mom. And so I've always been transparent and sharing that I didn't know how to love. I didn't know how to be a mother. I would never heard the words "I love you" from my mother. And so being a mother, I had to learn and kind of figure it all out. And the one thing that I can say that I did, that looking back, that maybe was not the best thing, is I identified with being a mom, and that was like my only identity. Like, I was making sure that they had everything they want. I was making sure that they did not have to go through any of the things that I went through, which is not a bad thing. I made sure that they were safe and did not have to go through any of the trauma, the abuse that I experienced. But I did not have an identity outside of being a mother and being a wife at that time. And so for me, though, that being a mom has saved my life, allowed me to not take my life, and allow me to see the value that I need to be here in order to pour into them. But now that I know who I am, and I'm walking in my purpose, I thank God for that. But now I am living my life for me. I'm living my life in order to be in alignment with what God has called me to be. So I wanted to just shift the dialogue, because I realized that sometimes as parents, whether you're a mom, whether you're a dad, we pour into our children. Rightfully so. You want to pour into them because they are vessels waiting to be poured into. They're the gifts that God has given us. But what happens when you've gotten past the point where, okay, I'm a mother, I'm a father, and then it stops there? Because I believe that we were created for a greater purpose outside of the titles that we give ourselves, whether it's being a mom, whether it's being a dad, whether it's being a wife, whether it's being a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whether it's being a CEO. You are not your title, right? And so I wanted to just encourage anyone who may be a parent at this time, and maybe they found that they put their dreams and goals on the back burner for their children. There's nothing wrong with that, but I encourage you to still work towards what you want to do, your dreams and your goals, a little bit every day, whether it's getting up and reading a book that's going to encourage you in what you're trying to do, whether it's taking time out to have a sip of coffee and just meditate on what you want your life to look like moving forward, whether it's attending an event that will allow you to network and meet with people outside of your mom circle, things that will get you to be pumped and going. Because when our children grow up and they're gone out, they go off to college, they get their own lives, we don't want to be stuck at home like, what do I do now? And that reality hit me when my oldest son, who's now in the Navy, he's married, when he decided to join the Navy, and then he told me he wanted to marry his high school sweetheart. And the reality hit when he left, and it was like, oh, my children will grow up and go away. And you want them to take their wings and fly, but you don't want them to be the only thing in your life. You don't want, because then they have to have their own lives, and you either, one or two things will happen. You will start to interfere and interject yourself in their lives when it's not needed, or you'll start to regret and resent the things you've done for them when it was beneficial to them in that moment. And so I am here to encourage you that though being a mom has saved my life and allowed me to not do something I would have regretted, I know now that my children are definitely their extensions of me, but I poured into them. I've given them a great foundation. They go off into their own world and they do the great things that God has called for them to do. And I'm still able to do what I'm doing right now. I still have a 15-year-old home. I love him, but he knows that when mommy's working on her business, when she's doing her lives, I'm focused. And then when it's time to get to bond with him, I bond with him. And it's amazing that I'm able to be who I need to be in the space I need to be and still not lose my identity. So I wanted to just hop on here and encourage you as parents to understand that our children are gifts to us from God. God gives them to us to pour into them, to love on them, to cherish them, to build a foundation within them that's going to allow them the platform and the ability to prepare forward. But in no certain point or circumstances should you lose yourself in parenting, should you lose yourself in being a wife or a husband. You should always know who you are. If you don't, you need to start now searching and seeking, who am I outside of this? Who am I? What's my identity? What did God create me to be? Because at the end of the day, outside of being a mom, outside of being a dad, outside of being a husband or a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you have your own personality, your own identity. And once you're able to identify that, you're able to build out your dreams and goals. Dreams and goals should not stop and cease to exist or cease to happen or cease to be planned out because you have children, you have a family. You should still be able to do that. And I'm encouraging you, anyone who may have said, I'm going to put this on hold until my kids grow up. Now is the time to build it out. Now is the time to take those moments little by little each day, whether it's 30 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever time, set aside for yourself. Whether you have to get up early or whether you have to stay up late, set aside time for yourself to be able to pour into what you so desire and deserve. And that's your dreams and goals. I thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you share. I will be hopping on my Facebook business page at 6:33 p.m. to talk a little bit more about investing the time you need into your business, into your dreams, into your goals. I love you all. Have a great day. Make sure to be blessed, be bold, be unashamed, and be free. And if you want to sign up for the next conference, early bird tickets are on sale right now. So let me drop the link for you guys so you'll have it. I love you all and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.